Hey guys, so it is Operation Thunderhead. I can't even remember. We're like on day 12, I guess, So if it's the 18th, and it technically started, I guess, the 3rd of January, something like that. I'll probably actually end up resetting the number or whatever. But I think today I kind of got, not kind of, I got more clarity on kind of what it is I wanted to do and kind of like how it is I wanted to do it. So I've decided like the idea is okay, become like world famous author by the end of 2022. And I think, well, what does world famous mean? And world famous, I guess, to me is thinking I have sold 10 copies of The Girl and the Beast on at least three continents. So the North American continent, maybe somewhere in Europe, and then in Asia. And if I can still send 10 copies of that. And then world famous, meaning like, so in such a way where I'm living and able to like sustain my living being an author. That to me is like, okay, can I be known as an author and have a sustainable living as an author in a single year and kind of show people from basically coming up from nothing and from no one to, you know, basically coming up and being something. So I'll be screening screenshots of my account and just keeping track of that meteoric rise. And so a lot of it is just sort of like getting people behind the scenes of my life, of what it takes and like what I'm doing to become an author. As well as I've decided that I also want, in order to start doing company, I realized like one of the business consultant things is like teach people how to be an author. And I realized like I can start out by niching out a business or like personal business coaching. I got like an Instagram thing from Bossgram from uh, what's her book it Vanessa Lau, who's a total baller, and she really broke it down. So I bought her program because I was just like, F it, it's about time. I need to invest in myself, and I've finished courses before, and every course I've finished has really, really changed my life. Like this time last year, I finished a relationship course, and that really turned the corner for me. Doing that relationship course with Kyra, and then, doing the Mind Valley thing. And then I realized, okay, I can do Mind Valley again also this year, but then also doing this program thing and being able to turn the corner on my how. And then really just deciding, like, okay, I'm going to be, a consultant, not a consultant, but like a coach. Like I'm gonna coach people how to finish books and how to go from basically I want to write a book to finishing a book, making that book good, and then eventually how to find an agent, how to get an offer, how to, and then doing all that and then doing it myself, right? And then kind of showing people through that journey, building a brand around that. And then obviously I can coach because I've been able to do that for myself, obviously sell and become a book and like make money off of selling my books as well, being a self-published author. And then just make courses and really own that space, right? Because there's not too many authors who you see like I can't think of any authors who are just really like, okay, this is how you get from A to Z, and like who really own that space. And like I know a lot of like they're fantasy authors, they're genre authors, but I'm trying to think of like as an author who's a career author, who's like my career is built around becoming an author, writing these really cool books and showing that and making money that way. But then also I literally have a job where I teach other people how to do that. And the idea is like engineer myself and build myself the skills as well as the resources and marketing, stuff like that. And then eventually I can take that into Mr. Reference and anything else I want to create and just be able to expand and build from there. And there are times when I think about like my age and I'm like, oh God, like am I behind? But in realizing, okay, like no, I can't keep thinking about the age as a determinant of how successful or non-successful I'm going to be, and just deciding that, hey, I have to move forward and do this thing. And so more and more I'm just figuring out like, hey, you know what, like I'm going to do this. And so I went, put a challenge on it, and I think the next thing is getting the landing page for peterclampton.com up, and then just basically saying like, hey, like the legendary O2, like his journey and what I'm all about is just figuring out how to become a world famous author, right? And I'm thinking also maybe getting like another like legendary O2 or like onionyabor.com or whatever. And that'll be like for the consultant side, and then for my pen name, that'll be Peter Clampton. and then just go from there, and then just try to build that, and just recognize like, okay, like how do I get sales? And I realize I don't know that full process, but I can coach people on how to finish books because I've finished books. I know how to finish books. I've written eight, and I've written, 8 books, and they've all been various qualities. So I have like the Five Girl and the Beast. I have the Stress book, and then I have Tracy Thatcher. So that's seven. That's seven. I feel like it's eight. There's another book I'm forgetting. Can't remember. Anyway, so I have that, and I've finished short stories and stuff like that. And so I realized, like, so at least 7 books, like by my count, I finished 7 books. And so I realized I know how to start a project and finish it, and how to edit it, and how to get down to self-publishing it, and like have it readable-ish, right? Like there's still a lot of process that I still need to learn for myself to go through, and there's a lot of learning to be done. And the idea is like I want to be able to get to that and be able to like absorb and create a brand, and like where I really become the expert and own that space of like go from like a nobody to like a published author, and really be the person to do that, and then obviously be a published author myself, and then be like, yeah, like I have my own published books, right? Like I have my own published books that I go out and I do that, and like I have my self-publishing books, which make me my kind of money on that side hustle. Then I have my published books, that are out and stuff. And obviously, like I think like the thing will blow up once there's actually things in theaters, and it's like, yeah, I got picked up an agent, was able to sell a couple books to these. They're coming out here, and then I'm able to do that. Like then I can really own that space. But like right now, the journey is just like, hey, he's unemployed, da 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 da, and he wants to become an author, and he knows how to write books. So I can be the guy who just helps people write books. Then I can be like, write your own books. Then how to self-publish books, and then how to go from that. Like I can just build out that brand, right? And so it's like a business like helping people become authors, as well as connecting and giving them connections, and knowing, giving them that line, because so many people don't know how to get into that. And you go to all these seminars and all these superstars and LTUE and all these places, and sometimes it feels like they never really give you an in, or give you any type of green light to really build any type of relationship, or like courtship with the editors and with the publishers and the people you're trying to do. And I realize even in my own end, like I could do and need to do a much better job reaching out and being consistent in nurturing and building those relationships. And I think that's something that I realized, like, hey, that's something I really need to do. And building it, and like becoming um, a writer of notoriety, and recognizing like, hey, like if I want to be on this level, like I need to start directly reaching out to these editors and these publishers and these agents, and I just need to start really aggressively taking the time to create these connections, and then obviously building my own brand of telling people how to finish books, and then how to beta test groups, and like make sure the quality. And then what it is like I can help create the quality and help people funnel from there, and then I can show them good connections. And once I can be that guy on the business end who's building that, and then I myself, when I'm an author, I can become that authority, right? And then I can kind of build the business around that. And then obviously, like, you do that, and then especially once a couple years, maybe you get to the course, and that's where it really blows up, and then you're able to develop things and create connections. And ultimately, like, there's also the idea of like being able to create the education, and there's all these plans I have to, but at least for now, the clarity is this: is like become a world famous author by the end of 2022, and get published, like get an agent, sell a book, and finish The Girl and the Beast, get that sold. Like there's a lot of stuff I'm trying to do this year, and it's like, oh god, like how am I going to do all this? And it's like, okay, well, I mean, I want these things. Like I want be a like world famous author. I want to get published. I want to like share my stories, and I want to just go out and create content and tell people about it, and really create buzz around, oh hey, here's this guy who creates content on YouTube, and he wants to be a world famous author by the end of 2022, and he's going out to go do that, and like show people. Then once you get people behind that and you get the mission, then people are like, oh, like, what will he need to do? And then it's like, okay, well, if I have subscribers and I have this, like I'll be able to do that. So like I could do these little challenges to get people, and there's just so much way. Then eventually, it's just a matter of getting an agent or someone to reach out to you and or out to me or whatever, then they want to buy the book and they want to do the book, and then doing that work. And then I had Brian, like, hey, gave him some ideas, but ultimately I'll just have to finish the book with Brian. And then if we have that book, then I can just here you go, hand it over, and then Brian Bjorn and Peter Clampton co-author a book together, and then that gets us in there. And then I can go and I can build that, and then I go and I coach, and I consistently go and I build out the different courses. And like I could go and I could start out and being like, this is how you write a good book, and I could write a book course just like on that, coach, and then make a course just on that, finishing a good book, then do another course on like, okay, editing and making that book not suck. So then that's the next course, and then go and like, okay, now that you have a good book, here's the business side and how you find that. And then eventually then you do a grandmaster course of how to do the entire thing and lead someone through that, right? And maybe that's like a process. Maybe that's something that takes 1 or 2 or 3 years to build out. But like if I can get something sustainable and then put something in that way where it's like, okay, someone can have this program, have this green light that gives them these connections, that gives them these things, where it's actually sustainable and it's not some big far flung seminar that's like old and like where there's nothing really concrete, right? Like it would just be great like if there's just a system where it's like, oh, okay, you have books, okay, well, here's the editors and stuff like that, and you can reach out to them and they have first priority here, right? And we talk to them and it's like these people who are in this program finish books. And like I think that'd be the greatest thing. It's like, yeah, in order to qualify for this program, you need to finish books. Like it's not enough to pay into the program. You have to pay into the program. You also have to finish books. And if you finish books and you have manuscripts ready, then you can apply to this person. And then it's just like, obviously it's a new schloss pile or whatever, but then maybe there's a certain higher quality level of writer because they've been through this program. So there's a certain quality of writer that's going through, and if I can create a proven process for that, that might give people sort of the thing they need to build that infrastructure, because publishers don't want to take that infrastructure, marketing, all that, and so authors need to learn how to do that. And so it's like, well, okay, so there's a space to be able to teach authors how to do that, right, and how to do that well. So I just need to figure out how to do that. And that's what I'm going to do the next year. Like I'm just going to be figuring out like, how do I go from like a nobody and essentially finish books, market the hell out of those books, or get agents or whatever, and then start selling them, right? And then just start going the different routes. And so like this year I think my big challenge is I'm going to market and promote The Girl and the Beast and sell that myself, while also getting an agent and selling a manuscript there. And that might be this book with Brian. And so then once I do that, then it's like cleaning up Girl and the Beast or cleaning up Tracy Thatcher and then selling that book, and then just selling and just start moving through these books, and then just start writing full time while also building this business. And then just see if I can help people doing that. And then I'll do the coaching, because that'll give me some like sustainable income and get me out of like this poverty level mind as I develop. But then I can go out. I don't know, getting this Brockgram Academy and like just talking, listening, it really clarified things. And I'm like, okay, this is what this is what I want to do. So my how is becoming clearer, but I'm like, my what and my why, it's like, I want to be a world famous author and in 2022 making $9,000 and accomplished all my goals, right? And I'm just able to move on. And that's what I want. I want to be able to nail that goal list and just move on past it and really finish that book and complete it and just make a lot of progress. And there's so much progress that can be made. So right now, I guess a lot of it comes down to just finishing The Girl and the Beast, and then obviously doing this work with Brian, and then just building this company, which will be, this is kind of the scariest part, right? But I have this program, and so the idea is just follow and do everything that program says and go from there. So I'm putting a lot of trust in Vanessa Lau's Brockgram Academy and like in myself, because I've invested in so many programs and so many things, and I just getting that financial platform would mean so much. Just being able to like make my own money and pay for my own things and make enough to be able to reinvest in it and have people, like an actual base of people that are growing that'll buy and read my stuff. Man, that'd be fantastic. And then it's just about building out the skill sets there and helping others do it. Then once I can kind of like put it on autopilot, kind of, then after that's set and built and I have that company and it's growing and building and doing that, then after that it's just
working. And then after that, it's like really focusing and building on my craft and that platform I built. Um, helping others along the way. So I'm excited for that. Anyway, that's the idea, but clarity is king, and I think I got it. So I'm pumped.